Hi, my name is Roland Butcher, and this is the first vlog for Communications 203. The topic I wanted to discuss in this vlog is the idea of credibility. So credibility, I'm sure most people know kind of what it is generally, but what most people probably don't know and what I didn't know is the idea that, as the readings told us, there are actually two different kinds of sub-credibilities. So just to brush up on the definition of what credibility is, it is the perception that the audience has that a speaker is both prepared and knowledgeable on the topic they are going to speak on. So the two different kinds of credibilities are antecedent credibility and consequent credibility. So antecedent credibility is the idea that your reputation precedes you. So for instance, if you're walking to a job interview and you handed in their resume to the interviewer, and the interviewer looked at it and they saw what kind of degrees you had, that could really show how credible you are. So for instance, if they were to see that you had a master's or doctorate degree, they might say like, oh, that might show that, for instance, you might have made extreme strides in the field of study that you're in, that you have a certain level of maturity and intelligence that could be very good for this company. Another example would be keynote speakers. So, for instance, for Geneseo's Great Day or any other kind of event, there would be a keynote speaker and there might be a little biography about them. If you read that biography, that could really affect how you feel and how much their antecedent credibility can be. If they are extremely knowledgeable in their field of study, have a lot of experience in their field of study, you might be more likely to listen to them more intently and respect their words more. Much with any type of credibility, antecedent credibility is absurdly subjective and varies person to person. I think a good example of this is our current president, Donald Trump. A lot of people find him extremely credible. They are agreeable to his politics, agreeable to his business practices, agreeable to his personality type. But on the other hand, people don't like his politics. People don't like his business practices or how he handles himself and the office of the presidency. So some people would find him credible and say, oh, he has good antecedent credibility. And other people would say, no, he does not a credible person at all. So the other type of credibility is consequent credibility, and that is the idea that you get more credible as your speech goes on. So a good example of this would be a new professor that isn't really known to the body as a whole or as a department as a whole, even as they might start speaking during their lectures. Students might either start tuning in more if they like it, or they might just say, okay, this guy doesn't really know what he's talking about. I think a specific example would be when Geneseo was considering and did hire a new communications professor. The professor had to go through a few different classrooms and give a guest lecture. I saw him in my media advertising class, and when he started, I didn't really know if he knew what he was going to talk about or if he was going to be good at all. But as the lecture went on, I felt that the person knew exactly what they were talking about, and his credibility raised in my eyes as the speech went on. So just to recap, antecedent credibility is how your reputation precedes you. It's how people see you before they meet you. That's how credible they think you are. And consequent credibility is the idea that your credibility rises as people might view a speech or hear a speech.